Blue Lantern control on a $100 budget. I'm taking this entry point to Lantern through a heck of a stress test in the leagues. Let's see how it holds up. So this is Blue Lantern on a budget. Lantern control can be built in many different ways because the core of the deck is just these little piddly 1 mana artifacts. And they don't have a color associated with them, so you can kind of just build Lantern however the heck you want. Yes, Kat, you want to see how you can build Blue Lantern on a budget? Yes, you do, don't you? Bill from Lantern Insights recently went 5-0 with a list that looks very similar to this. Their list was fully powered, so it had Mox Opals and Urza Sagas and things like that. But he was telling me that it is entirely possible to just cut those expensive cards and be left with a deck that is more or less the same as the 5-0 list, just with islands instead. And this is exactly what I have done here. This is a functioning Lantern control list that will run you, roughly 120 ticks, maybe even 100 or so ticks if you want to rent this or buy this through Card Hoarder on Magic Online. Or if you would like to come to my preferred vendor, which is Mana Pool, you can buy for, it says only $92. Let's see if that's actually true. So I am going to come through here. I'm going to remove the basic lands, since I'm sure you could just ask your local game store for some basic lands if you don't have any. And I'm going to use Mana Pool's incredible price optimizer here. And that is going to spit out a number of different carts. And it looks like the lowest price that they found for all of these cards is $127.90 all in. This might change slightly due to where you live. Your taxes might be a little bit different. So it might be, say $130, $135. But for a deck that you can play at a modern FNM, that's really not that bad. So I'm going to go ahead and test this list for y'all right now. I am going to run this through a standard modern league. I will be right back with match 1. Okay, I am on the play in match 1 versus the SssTwins. Now, this build of Lantern does not feature discard spells because it is mono blue. So instead of Inquisition of Kozilek's and Thoughtseizes, you're going to have counter spells. This is going to be a little bit tricky when navigating your Ensnaring Bridge, but I think on the whole, it's going to be okay. I have kept this hand that is basically just a bunch of lands, but this Mistress Bauble and Pyxis has convinced me that I can have at least a little bit of consistency going into my future turns. There's certainly an argument for not keeping this hand, but you know, we're here to test the counter spells, right? Looks like the hero is just going Flooded Strand Pass. Oh, that is a Lantern of Insight. I definitely want that. And I found Whir of Invention. Those were some really good pickups. I am simply going to hold open Counterspell, and I am going to pass turn. The hero fetched a tapped Sacred Foundry. This is almost certainly going to be some sort of energy variant. Yeah, that's a Voice of Victory. I think I am simply going to Counterspell this. Making it so I can't cast spells during their turn kinda defeats the purpose of what I'm doing. And now we just have a lock. So I'm going to throw down my Lantern, I'm going to throw down my Codex Shredder, and this Whir of Invention can grab Ensnaring Bridge. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to check the opponent's hand. So we're gonna have to see if that ends up punishing me later on. And yeah, this is just Boros energy with a slow start, I suppose. It does happen sometimes. All right, so the hero has dropped a Ranger Captain of Eos. This will let them search their deck for a 1-drop. And it also has an activated ability that makes it so I can't cast non-creature spells. I'm going to have to watch out for that. But now that I have this Underworld Cookbook, that's honestly not even that big of a downside. The idea behind this is that I can draw a non-creature spell per turn. They can sacrifice Ranger Captain on my draw step, to make it so that I can't cast the card that I drew, and that leaves a card in hand for Ensnaring Bridge to not be fully lowered. I believe the card they drew was an Arid Mesa, but I'm not 100% sure. All right, that's a Seasoned Pyromancer. They are going to be discarding a couple of cards here, drawing an Arena of Glory, and what else? An Ocelot Pride, huh? Okay, that's perfectly fine, I think. I am not going to be worrying for Ensnaring Bridge here. I actively want this Pyxis on top of my deck. I will, however, mill this Ajani because I don't want them having that. Okay, I think 3 mill rocks is probably enough mill rocks. Oh, that's beautiful. They're hasting something in here. Looks like they might be hasting in Flage. I will definitely take a hasted in Flage. Flage is getting hasted in. Ragavan is also getting hasted in. And now we get to see the power of Whir of Invention. I am going to tap my Lantern of Insight, my Underworld Cookbook, and my Codex Shredder. And I'm going to cast Whir of Invention for X equals 3. I will search my deck for this Ensnaring Bridge and put it directly into play. Now, none of their stuff can attack. Oh, that's beautiful. I will exile this Goblin Bombardment. I just don't want them having it. I found a Pithing Needle. I am going to be immediately dropping this on Ajani Nakatal Avenger. I don't know what their remaining 2 cards in hand are, and I would rather play around what I think they could possibly be. Oh yeah, and we've got no play from the hero here. This is fantastic. You know, I remember when this Academy Ruins was like a really expensive card. We've got a Dalkovan Encampment. Oh yeah, I couldn't possibly care less about that. So interestingly enough here, I actually cannot draw this counterspell. But what I can do is I can put Mishra's Bauble on top of my deck with Academy Ruins. So now I don't have to draw the counterspell. Well, I guess I had the Underworld Cookbook, so it doesn't actually matter. But I will go ahead and start winning the game here. Ooh, that is a Pyxis of Pandemonium. I love to see that. Go ahead and exile that Flage. That's beautiful. Gonna go ahead and put this Pyxis that I milled on top of my deck now. And I don't want them having this Seasoned Pyromancer because that's just additional card draw, so I went ahead and got rid of it. I'm also going to keep the hero off of creature removal, at least as much as I can. And I think I'm just going to stop tracking their hand here. Just discarded a counterspell to the Underworld Cookbook just as I drew it up. Or rather, just as Bill from Lantern Insights drew it up, because this is his deck that I modified. And I believe that's all of the Flages gone. Now it's just a matter of working through the remaining 20 cards in their deck. Shouldn't be too terribly difficult to do. These Pixides are keeping their graveyard nice and clean. I think I am going to let them have this Ranger Captain. This is going to be their last draw for the game. Scrying off of this Witching Well literally just does not matter. Ah, screw it. Now I'm not going to let them have the Ranger Captain or the Guide of Souls. I'm going to give them this Flooded Strand. Seems like a good card for them to draw right now, don't you think? Extremely helpful in letting them progress their game plan. All right, and we are both running low on library here, but unfortunately the hero is running just a little bit lower than I am, and oopsie daisy, they ended up drawing from an empty deck, which, as we all know, is a way that you can lose the game. So you should probably not draw from an empty deck if you can help it, of course. So, versus Boros Energy, how do I want to be sideboarding? I kind of want all of these things in, the artifacts at least. They all need to stay in. There's a good chance that I side lower on counterspells and instead bring in stuff like Welding Jar and perhaps something like a Pithing Needle. I don't know how I feel about bringing in Pithing Needle. Maybe I will bring in one Pithing Needle. This is a mono blue list, so it's not really going to have much in terms of actual removal. It's more so just kind of trying to slam games shut. I am going to keep this hand. Unfortunately, my stuff's not going to come online until their turn 3. Let's go ahead and just drop this Grafdigger's Cage. All right, that is a Goblin Bombardment. I would have loved to hit that with a Metallic Rebuke, but I just didn't have the luxury of doing that. And by luxury, I mean I literally just didn't have enough stuff in play to do it with. All right, well, this is just gonna be Metallic Rebuke the game, I suppose. Honestly, I need to get these rebukes out of hand. I am just gonna go ahead and do this. I would love to draw a 1-drop artifact right now. A 1-drop artifact is probably my best draw. Another land is not terrible, I suppose. I'd really rather it not be a land, though. But this Ocelot Pride Goblin Bombardment combo is eventually going to catch up to me. I'm gonna have to be on the lookout for that. Yep, here comes something. The Legend of Roku directly into my Metallic Rebuke. Thank you. Don't want to be dealing with that right now. And I'm continuing to just draw a nice fat pile of lands. Meanwhile, this Ocelot Pride is just dealing a ton of damage to me. They're going to be getting the City's Blessing here real soon. I need to draw something decent, something that's not just more lands. Or my 4th Metallic Rebuke. Oh, please, no, don't do that. Well, that is Legend of Roku number 2 directly into my 3rd Metallic Rebuke. But make no mistake, the hero is winning here. And I am actually dead on board. All right. So I had 5 draw steps. 4 of them were lands, and 1 of them was Metallic Rebuke number 3. There was just nothing I could have really done in that game, I think. I could have possibly kept a different hand, but jeez, that was a little bit rough, not gonna lie. Okay, we're on the play here. This is a turn 2 Metallic Rebuke. I am gonna keep this. I've also got a nice little lock here that I can use. Welding Jar will help protect me against a Wear Tear. Oh, beautiful. And that's just an Ensnaring Bridge. I love to see that. This Mishra's Bauble will help me draw into that. I don't think I'm going to stop this Guide of Souls. I think I'm just going to let that happen. 2nd Guide of Souls, huh? Maybe I will rebuke this one. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'm just going to let it happen. I think I should have activated my Mishra's Bauble on my last turn so that I could see what was underneath this Ensnaring Bridge. I think that may have actually been a slight play mistake on my part here. I am going to drop Pithing Needle here, and it's going to name Goblin Bombardment. Actually, it's going to name Ajani Nakatl Avenger. The hero has 4 cards in hand that I don't know what they are. I am insulated against a Wear Tear, fortunately. Oh yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and rebuke that. I just don't want them to have the tempo play of making me not cast something here. And I do want to find my 3rd land. That's not my 3rd land. I'm gonna just pop Mishra's Bauble here, try and dig towards that 3rd land. If I can find land number 3, then I'm going to be in pretty decent shape, actually. I'm taking 6 here. I'm gonna fall to 13. That's a relatively high life total, all things considered, I think. All right, looking for land number 3. Can it just be right underneath this Mishra's Bauble? No, it cannot. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, I need my 3rd land pretty desperately here. Now, the question here is, do I draw this Metallic Rebuke or not? It is face up. So if the hero is really in the know, then they could simply not play into the Metallic Rebuke, force me to keep it in hand, and then I would have 2 problems where I would have to both find a 3rd land for this Ensnaring Bridge, and I would have to dump the Metallic Rebuke. But I'm facing 7 onboard damage. That could actually be a little bit higher. I don't know. That's a little bit tricky. I really wish Mishra's Bauble was just an instant speed draw. I wish I didn't have to choose right now. But I need to insulate myself against what those last 3 cards in hand could be. I think I need to give my opponent the assumption that they are going to be playing well, and I'm not going to draw the Metallic Rebuke. I'm not going to rely on them playing into it. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to have to be okay with that. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of damage here. I don't like this. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 damage. I'm going to fall to 2. That is a significantly less comfortable life total to be at. Fortunately, I did needle the Ajani Nakatl Avenger here, so I don't have to worry about that at least. But I do need land number 3 right now. There it is. Okay. And now if their last card in hand is Goblin Bombardment, then I am just dead. And I have to be okay with that. Fortunately, it's just Ajani that they're casting. I'm not afraid of that at all. So there are a number of problems that I have right now. The hero cannot find Flage in any capacity. I do not have an answer to Flage right now. I just don't have one. I've got an extremely weak lock, just 2 lanterns and a Codex Shredder. I'm going to need to find a lot more than this in order to be comfortable with my situation. Oh, and I think that Arid Mesa is actually the last card that I know about. But the hero just kind of hitting all these dead draws is really good for me because it gives me an opportunity to dig for additional mill rocks using this Codex Shredder. Yeah, and now I know their entire hand. Oh, that's an Academy Ruins. That means that I can get back this Codex Shredder. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Witching Well is also a decent pickup, I think. Yeah, I don't think I can afford for them to have a Legend of Roku here. I think that's just too powerful of a card. So I am going to mill that. And that is a Flage. They cannot have Flage. That's a Lantern Shuffle right there. Seasoned Pyromancer on top, huh? I have to let them have that. Oh, geez, just straight up Wrath of the Skies. Well, I can't let them have that either. So it looks like we're going to be facing another Lantern Shuffle. So Lantern's going to go away. I'm not going to be able to see what they draw. And if they drew a Goblin Bombardment, a Wrath of the Skies, and a Ajani, something like that, okay, it's just Wear. That's fine. I can just regenerate my Ensnaring Bridge using the spare Welding Jar. And now we get to do just a little bit of a tricksy here. I am going to put Lantern of Insight on top of my library using this Academy Ruins. I am going to pop Mishra's Bauble, target the hero here. That's just a mountain. That's fine. On my upkeep, I am also going to use Academy Ruins, and I'm going to put Codex Shredder on top of my library. So I'm going to draw Shredder, and then I'm going to draw Lantern. And I now have the lock reestablished with 2 Shredders instead of 1. So I effectively was able to turn that Mishra's Bauble into another Mill Rock thanks to this Academy Ruins. That was actually really strong. I like that a lot. I don't know what this is, and I don't like it. Oh, don't tell me that they just drew Wear Tear and Wrath of the Skies. Oh, geez. Yeah, so that's just gonna blow up the whole world, basically. Oh, you know what they can do? They can only pay 1 energy. They can blow up my Pithing Needle, my Shredders and stuff. Ajani can flip, and the Pithing Needle will be gone. And then they'll still have Voice of Victory and Seasoned Pyromancer. So this is just lethal. I'm gonna make them do it correctly. Yeah, it looks like they did do it correctly here. Dang, that really stinks. So that Seasoned Pyromancer drew Wear Tear and Wrath of the Skies. So I think I did the best that I could with navigating that match. I think it was just that Seasoned Pyromancer that I more or less kind of just had to let slip through. And it drew perfects. That happens. Oh, that's a little bit frustrating, but, you know, sometimes you do just lose. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to match 2. That felt really good. That felt significantly more powerful than I thought it was going to be. And honestly, the Academy Ruins wasn't all that bad. That's interesting. Let's move on to match 2 here. If you're enjoying the video and think you'd like watching more of what I make, please consider subscribing so YouTube can notify you when I go live and upload videos. I appreciate your support. Thank you. All right, I'm on the play here in match 2 versus 3 HD gamers, huh? Got 3 HD gamers in a trench coat here. I will keep this hand. I think I'm going to deploy the Pyxis over the Witching Well, specifically because I have these 2 Mishra's Baubles. And holding open Counterspell on turn 2, I think is going to be all right. I think I'm going to like that. So let's go ahead and do the thing that I kept this hand based off of. And I remember when these Mishra's Baubles were like $20 cards too. A lot of cards in this deck have really plummeted in price. All right, basic planes, huh? Is this going to be another Boros energy deck? But they didn't have a turn 1 play. That's really interesting. I think I can do better than basic island. I think there's plenty of those in the deck and I can just find one. Orum's Chant, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. I was going to be holding open Counterspell anyway. Cleansing Wildfire. So they're literally just cycling. Brother, I have like 16 basic lands in this deck. Maybe even more than that. I think I have more than that, actually. Yeah, I'm really sorry, friend, but I have lots of basic lands here. I don't think I need a Codex Shredder. Whir of Invention is a good pickup. I am actually going to drop Witching Well. Yeah, I don't know if I want all of these, you know? I'm going to keep Counterspell on top. I can get rid of it if I need to. Okay, so that's just a Flage, huh? I'm okay with this. I'm not going to burn a Metallic Rebuke on that. And I don't think I want that Counterspell, so I'm going to use Pyxis to get rid of it. Oh yeah, third basic island. Love to see it. There's a chance that I just drop Torpor Orb. I don't think I'm going to, because I'm not ready to just deal with a second Flage from hand. Although I guess I could have Metallic Rebuked that Flage. Is this Whir of Invention for Lantern time? I think it is. I think it is time to Whir for Lantern. All right, Lantern of Insight. And yeah, you can have a Field of Ruin. I'm fine with that. So my Academy runes are going to be super dead, but I don't think I mind that much. And honestly, I don't even think I drop Witching Well. I have an island on top of my deck. I kind of just want to make my land drops here. Although I don't know if I want them having a White Orchid Phantom. Kind of just want to keep them off of creatures for now. All right, this is going to be an Academy Ruins. This is most certainly not going to survive, but it will at least turn into a basic land, so I'm okay with playing it out. Ooh, that's target artifact or land, huh? I think I'm going to take them off of that. Tapping the Quarry Mountain Monastery. Exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Okay, that's fine. Price of Freedom is in exile. And they just have another one, huh? I'm going to have to be okay with that. I don't think I'm dropping Witching Well this turn. I think I'm just going to hold everything open. Price of Freedom on my Pyxis, huh? I'm going to counterspell this. I think this is what I've been saving my counterspells for. Oh, Cleansing Wildfire. Yeah, I'm going to let that go. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card. I kind of want the Shredder. I'm going to let that happen. I think that was pretty wise of them to use the Cleansing Wildfire there instead of the Price of Freedom. All right, well, we got another Shredder here. And I think I am going to mill this now. There we go. Before this Quarry Mountain Monastery comes online. Do I just let this go? I'm not sure. I have Whir of Invention in hand. I have Ensnaring Bridge in hand. I could sacrifice Lantern to make everyone shuffle, or at least make myself shuffle is what I think would happen. And that would deny the hero a card draw, but it would also deny me a land. Do I want the land? I kind of want the land. I think I will just let this go. So they drew a Field of Ruin, and I don't know what's on top of their deck right now. Okay, so that is another island for me. I think I will simply main phase fire off this Whir of Invention. Ooh, a Hardcast Solitude directly into my Metallic Rebuke. Do I even care about that? I am going to need to get cards out of my hand eventually, right? But I think that's probably fine. All right, grabbing another Lantern of Insight here. And that is Quarry Mountain Monastery number 3. I think my solution to that is to simply Pithing Needle it. And I am ready for Flage, so I will drop Torpor Orb. This Metallic Rebuke is just not really doing much. Here comes Flage. And I have survived a lot of Price of Freedoms this game. All right, Torpor Orb is going to prevent it from doing the damage, which is fantastic. I kind of like where my where the top cards are, so I am just going to keep everything as is. Pyxis is going to come down, Ensnaring Bridge is going to come down, and I suppose I just need to hope that they don't have yet another Price of Freedom in hand, or one of these. What on earth? Exile target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. The spell cast by an opponent this way costs 2 more to cast. So it just kind of temporarily blinks things. All right, well, I'm going to attempt to get rid of that. This is going to be a Quarry Mountain Monastery activation. So I will exile it in response. And Galvanic Discharge is going to be the card that they exile with it. They're going to mill this mountain. And I get to draw a Solitude. All right, Witching Well number 2 can come down. I am going to scry this island to the bottom, but I'm going to keep the spare Ensnaring Bridge. I don't think that Field of Ruin is in hand anymore. I think I made a mistake of some sort. And I think I am actually going to pop Witching Well here. Draw 2 cards. Ooh, Pithing Needle. That's really good for me. I like that a lot. The second this resolves, I'm naming Quarry Mountain Monastery. Gonna drop this spare Ensnaring Bridge, and I think I'm in control of this game now. Let's just go ahead and work on ending it. Ah, main deck Wrath of the Skies, huh? That's disgusting. I am just gonna cast this Swerve Invention for X equals 1 right now. I'm gonna grab another Pyxis. I just need to get the game over with now. So something I just now thought of is Codex Shredder can actually be a counterspell in this situation if I want it to be. Yeah, I think I really like that actually. Flage can go, that can go, that can go. And this Plains will be their last draw for the game. Well, I kind of just ate 3 Price of Freedoms, just completely took it on the chin, and still didn't really care all that much. Oh man, that feels really good. All right, I've got 6 cards in my deck that's running a little bit low, but guess who has 0? Sorry, friend. Turns out basics are really good against the land destruction deck. So my fat pile of 21 islands is going to be extraordinarily helpful. I don't even think I'm going to be bringing in stuff like Harbinger of the Seas. I think I just don't care. I think I'm very interested in these Emeries, the Welding Jar, and the Pithing Needle. What am I not interested in? I don't think I'm interested in the Underworld Cookbook. I think I'm going to get rid of that. I think the Torpor Orb is not useful. Like, there are creatures that have ETBs in this deck, but they're Flage and White Orchid Phantom and Solitude, and I kind of just don't care about those. Emery, I'm not entirely sold on. I might not side these in. Grafdigger's Cage, I think I want something to deal with a Flage. Maybe Underworld Cookbook is more useful than Grafdigger's Cage in answering Flage specifically. So right now, these are just bringing in the 2 Welding Jars. Do I want the Pithing Needle? Quarry Mountain Monastery is basically the only thing that I'm going to be bringing Pithing Needle in for. So maybe I don't even want the Pithing Needle. And I honestly don't see what else I would cut for the Emeries. I am just going to be bringing out the Torpor Orb and Grafdigger's Cages, and I'm just going to be bringing in these 2 Welding Jars. I'm not going to be doing any more sideboarding right now. Yeah, Ashiok does shut off their Field of Ruins, but also, do you know what else shuts off their Field of Ruins? Having 21 basic lands. Oh, this is a really good hand. I'm going to keep this. It has a natural lock. It has Welding Jar in it. I think I am going to lead on Welding Jar. I'm going to cast this Mishra's Bauble, and then I think I'm actually going to cast Pyxis. I probably would have cast Lantern first if I hadn't drawn this Mishra's Bauble, but the Mishra's Bauble just makes it a little bit too appealing. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful Pithing Needle target right there. Cleansing Wildfire. You are can-tripping, friend. You are just straight up can-tripping. Did you see how many basic lands I had in this deck? Did you see all of them? The Underworld Cookbook, I don't really want that, but I also am not convinced I want to exile it. So I am going to draw it. Oh, Ensnaring Bridge. That's a really good pickup. I like that a lot. White Orchid Phantom. Beautiful. Oof. That is a Kataki War's Wage. That is really disgusting. I haven't seen that card in a decent chunk of time. And I don't play removal for it. So, yeah, I am going to not pay for the cookbook. I am going to pay for Lantern. I am going to pay for Pyxis. And then Welding Jar, I'm going to sacrifice. Yeah, that hurt a lot. Not going to lie, that really hurt. And I'm kind of wishing I had this Metallic Rebuke as well. I think I'm just going to exile the Price of Freedom while I can. Oh, well, they just had another Price of Freedom. Well, I will use the ability, and I'm going to go find a basic land here. Yeah, Kataki War's Wage is just going to really hurt. There's just no way around it. It's just going to suck. I am going to get Ensnaring Bridge down while I can. All right, and that's just Flage. I don't know. I feel like I'm falling behind here. I am going to make them shuffle this Price of Freedom away. I just don't think I can handle that. Gonna Mishra's Bauble them just to see what they're drawing. It's another Cleansing Wildfire. All right, that's fine. Yeah, Price of Freedom just randomly hitting artifacts for no reason just really sucks. I will actually target the hero with this Mishra's Bauble here. That is a Legend of Roku. I don't think I want them having it. So I will cast this Pyxis and I will exile it. Okay, basic land was a really good rip. I like that a lot. Oh, Price of Freedom on my bridge, really? Okay, well, I guess I have to use Whir of Invention to grab bridge number 2 now. I am just gonna start dropping Pithing Needles, and I am just gonna name Quarry Mountain Monastery with all of them. Just hoping they don't have something like an Ajani Vengeant. Don't know if any of you were young enough or old enough to remember this card, but this was a card that I played against back in the day. All right, well, my life total is falling pretty dang low. So I'm gonna have to cast this Whir of Invention now, and it's gonna have to grab Ensnaring Bridge. Fortunately, I have a ton of basic lands in play. I think I'm gonna top this. Yeah, I kind of want the counter spells right now. And if they don't play anything worth counterspelling, then I'm just gonna exile the top card of my deck with Pyxis, and I'm gonna draw the basic island underneath of it. Yeah, I'm gonna counterspell this, and I'm just gonna draw the counterspell on top of my deck here. I think that was mostly just to get me to shuffle. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's fair. That means that I'm just going to be taking a small hit. I need 5 lands in order to cast this. I think I have to get rid of the counterspell on top of my deck, and I need to draw the island underneath of it. Not going to pay for the Witching Well. I will pay for this Pithing Needle. I will pay for this Pyxis. I'm going to draw that basic island. I am going to cast my Ensnaring Bridge, and I'm going to continue to be in trouble. I don't know if I have a way out of this. If I do, then it certainly involves, well, not getting flaged again. But I think I'm dead here. There's a decent chance that I should be conceding this game. Oh, I don't like this. This looks like a Wrath of the Skies. Yep. That's Wrath of the Skies. I'm just going to concede the game. I'm not going to waste any more time on it. Do I want to make any changes? I kind of want the Emrys in the deck. It's entirely possible that I should side out Metallic Rebukes to do that. Maybe I side out 2 Metallic Rebukes and 1 Witching Well, and I bring in Emrys. I'm going to try this, because it seems like they removed all their creature removal, which, you know, it kind of makes sense. I'm gonna mulligan this. It just doesn't do enough. And that's a 0-lander. I cannot keep a 0-lander. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to keep this. I will bottom one of the Whirs, and honestly, the second Whir. That's a really unfortunate mold of 5. I don't like that. All right, well, at least I get to have Emry going. That's powerful, I think. Well, at least I don't get to have Emry going. Yeah, I want that island. I'm going to keep that. And now I've just got nothing going on. I need some help. Mishra's Bauble is a little bit of help. Oh, I found Lantern. I want that. Do I find another land? No. But I am just going to cast Lantern into Emry here. They're immediately pathing Emry, huh? I am going to exile your Price of Freedom in response here. So they did keep in their creature removal. Well, I suppose that's fine. Oh, they don't have anything here. Well, I am going to drop Pithing Needle on Quarry Mountain Monastery here. And I've got something going. It's not much, but it is something. Orm's Chant into, don't tell me, Wrath of the Skies. Come on. That's so cheap. That sucks so badly. Well, I'm going to regenerate my Lantern. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have let them have the Orm's Chant then, huh? Oh, Witching Well on top of my deck is pretty good. All right. I don't think I want any of these cards. I think I want to just find more Mill Rocks. Yeah, I'm countering that Solitude. I can't afford to be under a clock right now. That's another Solitude as the last unknown card in hand. Yeah, I'm going to have to be okay with that. Witching Well's going to draw 2 cards here. I found another Lantern, which is not great. And the hero's got some engines going. They have the Solitude in play, which is really helpful. But mostly it's this Quarry Mountain Monastery that's going to help out. They even have Soul Partition that they can force through a counterspell if they need to. Oh, I finally found Pyxis. That's fantastic. All right, we are getting somewhere now. I think I am going to exile this soul partition. I just kind of don't want to deal with it right now. Ugh, wear tear though, huh? Yeah, I kind of just had to deal with that. Honestly, I think the heroes got this game. I cannot really afford to play around this price of freedom. Oh, they're using it on a basic land, huh? Yeah, I'm going to take the shuffle. Oh, Kataki. Well, I definitely cannot afford to be playing around Kataki here. Gonna start gaining some life. This is the mistake that I was hoping that the hero would make. They're activating Quarry Mountain Monastery, and I just made them shuffle their deck in response. All right. Underworld Cookbook is my Ensnaring Bridge right now. This is one of the reasons I kept Cookbook in over anything else. But now they found Flage. I think that's just game. I have to make them shuffle this. I can't afford to have Flage in play. And they found Flage anyway. Yikes. I'm in trouble. They have a soul partition, which I think means that I'm just, like, objectively just dead here. Like, I don't think I can really play around that. Even if I top decked Ensnaring Bridge right there, there's just nothing that I could have done. Maybe I should have dumped Pyxis to the Underworld Cookbook instead of casting it. Probably what I should have done. But yeah, they're just going to... They could have just Orms chanted me, honestly. I think that was probably just correct. But I know that they have the Soul Partition in their hand. That's an Orms chant just for good measure. And that's the Soul Partition. All right, well, I feel like I put up the best fight that I could. The game just kind of got a little bit away from me. Maybe I could have played a little bit better with pitching the right things to the Underworld Cookbook, but quite frankly, the Kataki Wars Wage was really difficult. The Orms chants into Wrath of the Skies, which I just had to eat a Wrath of the Skies while paying for things underneath the Kataki Wars Wage. Like, that was just, it was a lot. It was a lot. So I'm not going to feel too terribly bad about this. I think I did the best that I could. And I'm just going to go ahead and move on to match 3. Did losing to my prison deck leave you feeling bitter and despondent? Work through the stages of your grief with a membership to Fate Seal Magic on Patreon, YouTube, or Twitch. As your grief matures, you'll gain perks like early video access, lessons and sideboard guides, featuring your deck in a video, and can even co-host a stream once you reach acceptance. I hope to see you on your path to healing. I'm on the draw here in match 3 versus Shoryuken, I guess. I'm going to keep this hand. It has a lock. It has an Ensnaring Bridge. Academy Ruins could be useful if we're not facing the mono land destruction deck. We'll see. Oh, and I just drew another island. That's great. I am going to simply play out my Pyxis into Mishra's Bauble. And we're going to see what we're working with here. And in Datha Triumph, this is almost certainly going to be Zoo, right? This has to be Zoo. This is a classic Zoo start. Except they didn't play anything, which kind of worries me. I want this Mishra's Bauble on top of my deck. It's just kind of free to have. Another land isn't fantastic, but I'm going to be okay with it. Playing this Lantern of Insight here around a Stubborn Denial, but not around Spell Pierce. Just going to have to see what they're doing here. Maybe this is some sort of weird Jeskai Blink variant that has Datha Triumph to play Leyline Binding, but that doesn't really make much sense. This Lightning Bolt on top of their deck really tells me that they are on a Zoo of some sort. Okay, yeah, it's just Doorkeeper Thrall. They were just holding that open. So they're going to shuffle their deck here with this Wooded Foothills probably. I would imagine that they have a Flage. Like, maybe that's just the interaction that they kept their hand on the strength of. Or maybe they're just gonna Ragavan dash here and help me out by clearing this island off the top of my deck. I'll take that. I will take that all day. That's fantastic. So Ragavan's gonna go back to hand. I'm not convinced that I play this Ensnaring Bridge yet. I think I'm just gonna continue to draw some cards. Switching well into island is fine. Right, Doorkeeper Thrall turns that off. That's okay. I don't know if they want another Doorkeeper Thrall here. No, they didn't. But they're getting a Flooded Strand. So right now, I'm kind of attempting to play around Leyline Binding. Like, I suspect that they kept their hand based off of something. And I don't know what that something is. Ugh, but now I guess I'm playing directly into a Stubborn Denial, aren't I? Because they just had Flage. Interesting. Well, now I'm kind of priced into playing this Ensnaring Bridge, so that's what I'm going to do. At least I drew another one. Gonna see if this resolves and sticks around. Given that the hero's fetching here, it doesn't fill me with confidence. This might just be a consign to memory. Yeah, okay. So I am taking 10 minimum this turn. Ragavan and Lightning Bolt can actually put me to 15 damage taken, which puts me to 1 life. I'm gonna exile this Leyline Binding now. Oh, I don't know if I can deal with... Oh, wait, no, they have a Doorkeeper Thrall. Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thanks for the Doorkeeper Thrall, turning off your Flages. Funny thing is, I can't even use Flage to remove the Doorkeeper Thrall. Yep, Ragavan is getting dashed in, clearing this island off the top of my deck for me. And I am taking a nice fat chunk of damage here, falling to 4. All right, and that's the last card in their hand. I've won this game. I have won this game. At 1 life, but it still counts. So now I'm going to drop this Academy Ruins. I'm going to play out Pithing Needle. What am I going to name with this? I'm going to name Teferi Time Raveler. It's not an exceptionally common card played in these sorts of decks, but it does happen. All right, and their entire team is held back. They have a Lightning Bolt in hand, but that's going to bring me to 1 life, and most notably, 1 life is not 0. Flage is in hand for them, but this Doorkeeper Thrall is currently turning that off. Just going to go ahead and draw this island. And they are wisely holding back their Lightning Bolt. So this is something that they might be doing. They might Lightning Bolt their Doorkeeper Thrall here, and then attempt to double Flage me. Oh, but I have Grafdigger's Cage in play, so they can't even do that. But that does mean that I need to keep them off of additional copies of Flage. I am going to put this Ensnaring Bridge on top of my library here. All right, they have a counterspell. I don't think I really care about that. Sign of Draco, I don't care about. Counterspell, I care about a lot. I cannot draw that. So I am going to use Pyxis here. That's a Torpor Orb. Yeah, I think I'm okay with drawing Torpor Orb here, actually. They could Stubborn Denial this, and I could just put it right back on top of my deck. Okay, they just conceded the game. That is beautiful. Love to see that. That was great. Just finding the line. The hero being really aggressive with this Doorkeeper Thrall into Flage. You know, it put me to 4 life. They have Lightning Bolt in hand. But notably, 1 life is not 0. And I was able to win the game. Your life total is a resource. Use it. Now, how do I want to fight this deck? They're going to probably be keeping in their Lightning Bolts. Leyline Bindings are certainly staying in. Probably going to be bringing in Wrath of the Skies. Kind of wishing I had more counter spells, honestly. I think counter spells would be really good against this deck. I want these Welding Jars. I think I can safely side out a Pithing Needle. Do I side out Grafdigger's Cage as well? It's possible that I do. And I rely on the Underworld Cookbook and Torpor Orb. Do I keep in Torpor Orb? I don't know if I keep in Torpor Orb against the Doorkeeper Thrall deck. So maybe I'll side out Torpor Orb and I'll keep Grafdigger's Cage in. Is there anything else that I want to bring in? Harbinger of the Seas is only situationally useful. Ashiok Dreamrender is almost entirely useless. None of the other sideboard cards are useful. I could, I guess, see Witchbane Orb being brought in. But I think Witchbane Orb is just kind of a worse Underworld Cookbook. I think I'm just going to keep it as is. I'm going to bring in my 2 Welding Jars, side out 1 Needle and 1 Orb, and just be done with it. This is a double counterspell hand that does nothing. I'm going to mulligan. I will keep this, and I'm going to bottom 1 of the baubles. Oh, the hero's mulling to 5. Ooh, that's not fun. Straight to 5, huh? Does kind of suck for them. Oh, but they have a Leyline of the Guild Pack start. All right, so maybe it's not that bad. I need an Ensnaring Bridge. Mishra's Bauble sees the same number of cards that Wishing Well does if I cast Pyxis of Pandemonium as well, which I'm interested in doing. But it also cycles. Ooh, they're consigning my Pyxis. Yeah, that's fine. That was a perfectly good waste of a consign to memory, in my opinion. All right, they've got a Ragavan here. And how do I want to play this? Whir of Invention was a really good pickup. I could Witching Well now. I could just play Lantern Shredder. I'm gonna play Lantern Shredder. Welding Jar on top of my deck. Well, I know for sure that I want that. And I think I might be okay with giving them lands. I think I'm just gonna drop Shredder here. And I will just let them take this Witching Well off the top of my deck for me. Thanks, Ragavan. Love you. Mwah. I am okay with just drawing a Pyxis of Pandemonium here. Don't think that's really that big of a deal. I'm not under that much pressure right now. Oh, Mystical Dispute? Yeah, you can't have that. Not going to give you a counterspell. All right, so Pyxis is coming down. That's another Consign to Memory, huh? Yeah, that's fine. Just going to go ahead and play out my other stuff here. Oh, well, I could sacrifice the Underworld Cookbook to guarantee a land drop. I think I will do that. It doesn't feel particularly great, but I think it's just what has to be done here. Yeah, you've got one threat, friend. Although I suppose the Underworld Cookbook could have countered this Ragavan. I think it's fine, though. All right, land drop for me. Thank you very much. And the hero's going to fetch here. They're going to try and find something to do. Definitely don't want them having a Leyline Binding. I'm going to mill that. Ugh, another Leyline Binding, huh? I might just have to be okay with that. So maybe those Consigned Memories on my pick sides were not as bad as I was making it out to be. Because I would have really loved to have a stronger lock right now. Oh, well, that's just Ensnaring Bridge. So that's going to trade with Leyline Binding. And then this Whir of Invention in my hand is going to seal the game after that. Unless that last card in hand is a third Consigned to Memory, which I actually don't know what that third card in hand is, that last card in hand is. This one right up here, you know? It's another Consigned to Memory. Okay, so they just kept a handful of Consigned to Memories, I understand. So I will have to find another answer here, or else I'm just gonna be dead. Kinda just need the hero to hit a whole lot of nothing right now. That's not a whole lot of nothing. That's really not a whole lot of nothing. What do I do about that? Do I sacrifice Lantern to make them shuffle? But then they just pop Witching Well. I'm not sure. I think I might just have to let them have it. Oh my god, I cannot answer this Ragavan. This Ragavan's just gonna go coast to coast. My kingdom for a counterspell, please. I'll take Whir of Invention. At this point, I will just take it. They could even pop this Witching Well to draw 2 cards. Looks like they might be doing that. Yeah, here we go. Consigned to Memory and what else? Mystical Dispute? Oh my god. I cannot answer this Ragavan. I don't have a Fatal Push. I don't have a Lightning Bolt. I mean, I'm going to be losing Welding Jar anyway, right? I'm going to sacrifice Welding Jar and I'm going to put it on Lantern. And we're going to see if they clean up their Ragavan with everything else. They did. All right, well, really the only saving grace that I have right now is that the Ragavan is off the table. I think I am going to play this Whir of Invention while I still can. I wish I had a threat. I don't know what threat, but something. I think I'm just going to grab Pyxis. And I think I'm just going to have to let them have this Stubborn Denial here. That's a Leyline Binding, or you're just going to go after Pyxis here? No, you're going after Lantern. I am going to exile here. All right, they have another Leyline Binding on top of their deck. I forgot what's on top of mine, but I'm going to be drawing it anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. Get rid of the Leyline Binding. I'm not going to play into their face-up Mystical Dispute and Stubborn Denial. Okay, well, that's 1 Leyline Binding. That's 2. They have a third. Yeah, maybe I should have waited till their upkeep to do this, huh? And now if they just draw any threat, then I'm cooked. That's not good. Yeah, that's literally any threat. That's a Ragavan. What a weird game. What an incredibly low resource, strange game this is. And now they've got their threat backed by their counter magic, and I'm in trouble. And they hit an island, which I actually wouldn't have been that mad about. That's Metallic Rebuke. Is that useful? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I need something else. I don't think Metallic Rebuke's going to profitably trade with things right now. Oh, Academy Ruins. That's huge. That's huge. I love that. Now I can just cast Ensnaring Bridge every turn for the rest of the game because I have enough lands to do that. Just need to hope that they didn't hit a Mill Rock, which Mishra's Bauble is not a Mill Rock. They bobbled themselves. They didn't like what it was, so they're fetching with Arid Mesa here. All right. Let's go ahead and enter the next phase of this game, which is just me casting Ensnaring Bridge over and over and over again. Ensnaring Bridge. That's a replicated consigned to memory. Super replicated. I don't know if you needed to replicate it that much, but that's fine. I guess you don't know what my last card in hand is. What if my last card in hand was Flusterstorm? Would have been able to counter all those consigns. They're just fetching as much as they can now. I am still very much in trouble here. Like, I kind of just need them to draw blanks forever, actually. And I need them to hit blanks off the top of my deck with Ragavan, which I'm making the second part of that happen. Whir of Invention is a blank for them. Unless they just, like, randomly have a Pithing Needle in their deck or something. All right, Flooded Strand is a blank. I'm going to do the thing that I can do. I'm going to put Ensnaring Bridge on top of my deck. I'm going to draw it, and I'm going to cast it. They are going to Mystical Dispute it. I am going to pay for that. Ensnaring Bridge. And then they're going to Stubborn Denial it, and I can't pay for that. That's okay. I can still activate Academy Ruins on my upkeep and grab Ensnaring Bridge and still cast it. But I really need them to just have Stone Cold Nothing here. All right, they hit an island. If they hit a Mill Rock, that would be game over, actually. Oh no, it's a Teferi Time Raveler. It's a Teferi Time Raveler. I Pithing Needled that in game 1, if you remember. Well, I'm gonna do the thing that I can do because I can do it. That's really the only thing I can do here. Although, I could Whir of Invention for X equals 3, actually. And that would play around Consigned to Memory and Stubborn Denial. So, but I kind of need Whir of Invention to Pithing Needle this dang Teferi. I don't know what I should do here. Because what can happen is they can simply bounce Ensnaring Bridge with Teferi, hit me down to 2, but then I would have Whir of Invention and Ensnaring Bridge in hand. And that would leave me in okay shape. Do I have a Lantern of Insight in my graveyard? I don't. So I can't Academy Ruins back a Lantern of Insight and eventually get a lock on. I need to decide if I'm going to use this Whir of Invention for Ensnaring Bridge or if I'm going to use it to answer Teferi. I need to decide if I want to play around additional counter magic or not. They've had so much counter magic. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 counter spells. I don't think I'm going to play around additional counter magic. I think I'm going to try and high roll here. Kind of think I need to. They're going to bounce the Ensnaring Bridge, and I'm just going to have to be okay with that. At least it didn't get countered. That would have been the worst thing. The counter spell on that Ensnaring Bridge would have just straight up won them the game there. And I still need them to just have nothing. I don't think they have nothing. Yep, that is bouncing Leyline Binding. So Leyline Binding is in hand, and they revealed a Lightning Bolt off of the draw for Teferi. So I think this is just game. I'm going to make them play it out, but I'm pretty sure this is just game. I'm going to fall to 2 off of the Ragavan. They're going to exile the counter spell, and then they're going to bolt me for lethal. All right. Did my best, but they just had way too much counter magic. Didn't I also get Wrath of the Skies that game? Yeah, I did. I fought through 7 counter spells and a Wrath of the Skies and still had a shot at winning this game. Honestly, that's pretty impressive. Oh, and I also got Leyline Binding. So yeah, I'm not mad about that at all. That was, again, a really strong performance from the deck, I think. So I know they have Teferi Time Raveler in the deck. Does that make me want to change how I'm sideboarding? It does. I want this Pithing Needle in here now. And what am I getting rid of? Honestly, probably Grafdigger's Cage. I think that the Underworld Cookbook is just more useful than Grafdigger's Cage because it can gain life and deal with stuff like Lightning Bolt as well. I will be on the play. Will I simply hold open Metallic Rebuke? I think I will. Metallic Rebuke is a really good answer to a Ragavan start, which if they're mulling to 6, they might actually need a Ragavan start here. Just gonna cast my zeros. I will see what they're drawing. Temple Garden, all right. I'm not gonna cycle this Mishra's Bauble yet. I don't think I need to. Pyxis was a really good pickup. I like that a lot. I'm still holding open this Metallic Rebuke. Yeah, you surveilled to top. Get rid of that, please. Arid Mesa Pass. They still haven't played that Temple Garden that I know about. I don't think I'm gonna be popping this Mishra's Bauble yet. I think I'm just gonna be patient. Ooh, another Metallic Rebuke. I think I want that. And I am going to put a stop on my end step. See if they fetch with Arid Mesa here. They are fetching with Arid Mesa. So I am going to let that resolve. And then I am going to Mishra's Bauble them. All right, that's an Arena of Glory. I'm gonna let them draw that. And they're still not playing lands that I know about. That's just a Territorial Kavu. I think I'm gonna counterspell this. They might have a Mystic Dispute for this. Stubborn Denial. Yeah, that's fine. I'll pay the 1. All right, well, yeah, I was okay with that exchange. I like that a lot. Mishra's Bauble is gonna come down. And I'm still just kinda waiting here. Waiting for something to happen. If I find a Lantern of Insight, I'm in really good shape. Uh-oh, they're hasting something in. That is a Ragavan played around Metallic Rebuke. Yep, that happens. I am going to Mishra's Bauble myself here. I'm going to see what I'm drawing. I really want that Whir of Invention. I'm going to pop Witching Well here, actually. I don't know what they hit. What did they hit? Oh, they hit another Whir? Oh, that's lovely. Do I just jam Whir of Invention now? I don't think so. I think I can afford... Oh, wait, but I have Metallic Rebuke. Can I do everything? 7. I can do everything if I find Lantern specifically with Whir, but I might want Ensnaring Bridge, so I'm just going to hold for now. All right, they just hit an island. I didn't really want that anyway. Oh, and I hit Lantern of Insight naturally. That's beautiful. Love to see that. Maybe I should have played out the Academy Ruins. Yeah, that's just a replicated Consigned to Memory. Super replicated. I think I'm going to continue to hold. I'm just going to be patient. Oh, they hit a Witching Well. That's really good for them. Yep. Go ahead and do your Scry too. That's just straight up card advantage. A massive amount of card advantage. Oh, they hit 2 top. What the heck? That's disgusting. Come on. Get those exiled, please. Oh, no. They're just going to immediately pop the Witching Well and draw the 2 topped cards. Man, that sucks. That sucks pretty badly, actually. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Well, I am going to Whir of Invention now, and I'm going to do it for Ensnaring Bridge, and I'm doing it around a Mystic Dispute. Yeah, I'm just going to grab Ensnaring Bridge. I'm not going to get fancy. Whatever those 2 cards were, they must have been really dang good. Falling to 12. Oh, they found Codex Shredder. Please don't cast that. Please do not cast that. Oh, man, please don't cast that Codex Shredder. All right, that's just a wear on my Ensnaring Bridge. I'm regenerating that. Another wear on Ensnaring Bridge. I think this is where I point my Metallic Rebuke, honestly. And they're paying for it. All right, well, that's something at least. Shocking in a Godless Shrine? Yeah, they're casting my Codex Shredder, man. You can't do this to me. Didn't even bother activating Academy Runes because there's kind of just no point to it now. I do have another Whir of Invention in hand. I can Whir for 1 and still activate Academy Ruins while holding open Pyxis. Do I want to do this? I'm at a relatively high life total. Or I could Whir for 3 and play around Metallic or the Mystic Dispute one, that one. I think I'm going to do that instead. No, I'm not going to Whir for Needle right now. It's not that important of a priority, unfortunately. I have to stem the bleeding. I have to get a lock into place. I have a Lantern of Insight in the graveyard. Okay, they're just straight up milling me. Like, I don't care about that. Oh, they're doing something terrible, aren't they? They're doing something horrible, aren't they? Oh, it's just an Ashiok Dream Render. Oh, that's so annoying. That's ridiculously annoying. I do not like that at all. Well, I am going to activate Academy Runes right now. I'm going to put Lantern of Insight on top of my deck. And at least this forces them to use the Codex Shredder. Oh, they just let it resolve. They should have milled the Lantern on top of my deck, honestly. They just should have done it. Wait, what? They're letting me draw it? Sure, you got it. That's fine. How many counter spells do you have in hand? Yeah, that's fine. Consign, I don't care. Oh yeah, I guess the Whir of Invention also played around Consigned to Memory. Friend, I have Academy Ruins in play. It's going to be nigh impossible for you to actually like do this in a way that is going to actually mill me out. So if that's your win condition, I'm afraid it's not going to work very well. Although I guess Ashiok does make me mill cards too, doesn't it? So how many lanterns do I have in here? 1, 2, 3. Wow, I have 3 lanterns in exile. That's terrible. Yeah, maybe Ashiok will get there. Maybe it will get there. Oh, I should have activated Academy Ruins there. I'm just being silly. All right, well, I'm in trouble, actually. I'm actually in trouble. They're rebuying something with Codex Shredder. Yeah, nah, that's game. I can't deal with that. Yep. How many Ensnaring Bridges do I have in exile right now? 0, as far as I can tell, actually. And they hit Pithing Needle off of... Okay. Okay. Oh, man. I feel like I was just this close, you know? Just so close. If they choose Academy Ruins, I'm going to concede the game. Oh, they chose Pyxis. I'm not going to concede then. They are going to exile my Ensnaring Bridge. I don't even know if I can win this game anymore. I can not lose, I guess. Maybe. Oh, Whir of Invention. Yeah, let's go ahead and just fire that off. Playing around, I don't know. Right, Ashiok. That's so funny. That's so ridiculously funny. Oh man, that was great. Oh, that's beautiful. You'll love to see it. All right, that's my last Lantern of Insight. They're all in exile now. Oh, and they're activating it. They're casting Lantern. Oh man, they are playing Lantern Control now. Wow, that's so terrible for me. You know what? I'm actually gonna let this game continue just because this is so fun. I've got 10 islands in play, an Academy Ruins that has no targets, a Pyxis of Pandemonium that is Pithing Needled with my own Pithing Needle, and now the hero has become the villain. At least I can Pithing Needle something now, right? I'm still gonna do my best. I literally have no plays here. There's nothing I can do. Just gonna bleed out. Gonna let them work for their win. And by work for their win, I mean just immediately win because they exerted Arena of Glory, because that's how cards work. Wow, that was something else, wasn't it? You know what? The hero played valiantly in this game. I feel like I had some edge. This isn't I don't know if y'all saw the video that I released on Lantern Control before this, but I was playing Winter Moon and Life from the Loam and stuff, and I felt completely helpless in every situation. But playing this budget blue Whir version, I feel like I have agency. And I know that it's still the same record, and I know that I'm still just losing matches, but I felt like I was just a complete dog when I was playing that earlier version. But in this version, I don't feel like a complete dog. I feel like I'm getting it really, really close. And then the hero just kind of has 7 counter spells and Leyline Binding and Wrath of the Skies. And I can handle all of that. But then they drop it to Fairy Time Raveler. And it's just okay, you had 10 outs and you drew and played all of them, and I could handle 9 of them, just not 10 of them. So I'm not even really that mad. I'm gonna move on to match 4 here. This is a really interesting experience. So I was on the play here versus LiukBiukEnnon, which is letters on a keyboard. Yep, those are letters. I clipped out the very beginning of the match, unfortunately, but you can kind of see what happened. The hero went Hollowed Fountain into a Flitterwing Nuisance, which is quite powerful, I think, maybe. And I kept a hand. I kept a 6 that cast Whir of Invention. I had to bottom an Academy Ruins, unfortunately. But I do have a turn 3 Whir of Invention. It's only for 2, but maybe that'll be good enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going to top deck an Ensnaring Bridge. We'll see. This is definitely some sort of fairies deck. The activated ability on this thing makes me really think that they're just going to be putting out a lot of random fairies. I'm probably expecting Spellstutter Sprite. I might even be expecting Witherbloom Bearer. Oh, it's a sneak deck. Yeah, you can have a growing lifelinker. Oh, you know what that makes me think? This might be some sort of combo deck, because I know that there are combos with Leonardo because it is a lifelinking creature that gets bigger when you gain life. So if you give this thing the Walking Ballista text, then it just goes wild. Oh, they kept a card on top. We know what that means. Mill it, please. Thank you. Ooh, Spell Pierce. Yep. What the heck kind of art is that for Spell Pierce? What on earth is going on here? It's a scary face on. Oh, it's an Ether Drift. This is a car. I don't know what that is. Okay, so we're playing against some sort of tempo deck here. So this is just a creature. It's warped in. I'm gonna just let them do their thing. They have 3 lands. Kind of wishing that I had played Pithing Needle out on something. I'm not really sure what I should be Pithing Needle out of this deck. Maybe like it's a Fairy Time Raveler. I didn't know if they had another color, so I was kind of worried that they might have like an Agatha's Soul Cauldron, but this doesn't really feel like an Agatha's Soul Cauldron deck to me. I think I am gonna just drop Pithing Needle, and I'm gonna put it onto Fairy Time Raveler. Although I suppose I could have Word for 1 and grabbed Lantern. I don't know if I want to do that though. I'm not really sure what I'm playing against is the problem. And I'm having to figure it out in real time. I don't like how much mana they have access to. Okay, they are just warping this thing in. Wow, that Leonardo got really big really quickly, didn't it? Kind of want to mill them just to get more information. That's all I want to do. I just want to see what else is going on. That's a Mishra's Bauble? Why are you playing Mishra's Bauble? For the Hylias, I guess? Oh, that is a top deck Ensnaring Bridge. Here is what I'm going to do. I am going to hold this open, and then on my end step, when they crack this Windswept Teeth, I am going to Whir of Invention for 3. Yep, here we go. Playing around Spell Pierce. This was a relatively low level play, but I had a feeling that they were just going to crack that Windswept Teeth. I felt it in my nuggets. And now that means that this Leonardo cannot attack. I'm still taking some amount of damage, but not that much. And now we get to see if they have answers to Ensnaring Bridge in their deck or not. Oh, they found an Idyllic Grange. They're going to put a +1 counter on their Ledger Shredder here. I mean, this is the color pair that has stuff like March of Otherworldly Light. They might be playing Prismatic Ending, although in a 2-color deck, that's less likely. I might expect some amount of Marches, though. Would they be playing Wrath of the Skies? Yeah, that's a draw 3. I guess I'm going to have to be okay with that. Dang, there's the Agatha's Soul Cauldron. At least I have another Whir of Invention here. So this Pithing Needle should have gone on Agatha's Soul Cauldron. That was just like, I knew that Agatha's Soul Cauldron is a card that they could have had. I just chose not to play around it, I guess. Jeez, that's disgusting. Now all their stuff turns into Flitterwing Nuisances, which I guess isn't actually that bad. Oh, I just found Pithing Needle. Yeah, Pithing Needle. Put that Pithing Needle on Agatha's Soul Cauldron, please. And I am going to Whir of Invention for 1 right now. Don't care that I'm conniving or letting your Ledger Shredder connive. That's fine. I've just got to get something going here. All right, Lantern of Insight, get into play, please. I cannot check their hand. That's a kind of a big problem. I'm just going to have to kind of hope that they don't have anything going on. I really have to hope that they've got nothing going on because they're about to chain Winter Night Stories together, and there's just jack diddly squat that I can do about that. Like, I can mill one of them, I guess. Jeez, this Codex Shredder. So the thing their deck does with Agatha's Soul Cauldron is they probably have a Walking Ballista somewhere in their deck. They exile Walking Ballista with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and then it goes infinite with Leonardo. So I am just gonna let them do this. Marsh Flats, Flooded Strand. Okay. And they discarded Marsh Flats and Flooded Strand, but I think they still have another one in their hand. Okay, so that is a Halia. They're gonna draw that. Yeah, see, here's the Walking Ballista. Do I want this milled? I think I want the Ballista in the graveyard. Agatha's Soul Cauldron is Pithing Needled. All right, so they got a Leonardo, Cutting Edge, Mishra's Bauble, and a Hollowed Fountain. And they discarded Flooded Strand and Mishra's Bauble. I'm glad that I trust my notes on that. Grip full of cards, nothing to do, at least nothing that I know of. But I think that is the other Winter Night Stories gone. And that's an Ocelot Pride. All right, so I am gonna have to play out this Ensnaring Bridge. Ooh, they got something else they're doing here. A Flitterwing Nuisance. All right, that's your turn. You played out a bunch of little nerds. Wow, this is just triggers.deck, huh? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I am going to play out this island. I'm gonna cast this Grafdigger's, or this Ensnaring Bridge, and I'm gonna pass turn. This makes me genuinely wonder if they have an out to Ensnaring Bridge in the deck. I don't know, they're kind of just not doing anything. Didn't even play a land last turn. Yeah, Trapper, it does really feel like they're locked. I'm not sure if they are or not. And I feel like Peak could be an option. I think I would rather in this deck have Sorceress Spyglass, which I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on screen here. It's a 2-mana Pithing Needle that can look at the opponent's hand first. Oh, and I just typed in the wrong Halia. You know what? It's fine. It doesn't matter. Because they conceded the game. Let's go. What do I even name this deck? What's the name of this deck called? I don't know what this deck is called. I'm going to have to figure it out. I don't think the deck really has a name. I'm just going to kind of call it Cutting Cauldron right now. Cursed Totem is really interesting, and I think I'm actually going to be taking my Torpor Orb out for that. None of these other cards, I'm not convinced I really need them. I don't know. Like, Pithing Needle kind of answers a bunch of stuff. Do I think that they're going to have removal? Probably. Maybe I want Welding Jars for that. What am I siding out for those, though? I don't know if I want to be siding out counterspells. I kind of might want to side out counterspells, though, honestly. Yeah, I might want to side out counterspells. And if I'm doing that, then I'm just bringing in Pithing Needle and Welding Jar. I think this matchup might be a bit fast for counterspells. Yeah, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try this. I don't know if I'm going to regret it or not, especially like on the draw where counterspell is at best open on their turn 3. I think I just need to be a little bit more proactive than that. And yeah, Trapper, I think they were just kind of thinking about what was in their deck for a little bit. But then they remembered that people don't play Ensnaring Bridge, so they don't play outs to it. I'm going to mulligan this 1-lander, and I am going to keep this 3-lander. I am going to bottom an island because I really, really, really want the lock in this hand. And I'm just gonna trust that my deck delivers another land to me. I play a lot of them. There's 23 lands in this deck. Yeah, see, there's the island. What were y'all worried about? I was gonna have that 3rd land anyway, right? There's a Halia. Just gonna yield to all these life gain triggers. Oh, there's an Ocelot Pride. So I am gonna have to get this show on the road sooner rather than later. Fortunately, Guide of Souls is not gonna pump up quite yet. Oh, right, I forgot that this is a life draw card trigger. So I guess they're gonna have that Leonardo. And this is out of their hand. All right, I am going to drop my island. I kind of want the island on top of my deck, to be completely honest. So I am gonna drop Codex Shredder here. And then Pithing Needle is just going to go, that's going straight on Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I could have simply played out Pyxis and Shredder, but I don't think I need to do that. I'm going to let them just have this Guide of Souls. 2 unknown cards in hand now. Maybe they're both lands. Oh, well, one of them's a Halia, so that's fine. All right, they played out some stuff that I don't really care about. Guide of Souls is going to trigger here. I'm going to take a bit of damage. They're going to draw this Marsh Flats. Oh, well, maybe that was a reason to play out Pyxis, huh? Oh, man. I'm going to have to mill that. Oh, that's a Hurkyl's Recall. They cannot draw that Hurkyl's Recall. So I am going to have to take a lot of damage here, actually, in order to make it so that they don't draw the Hurkyl's Recall. Because I have to play out this... I can't tap my Codex Shredder to go find Ensnaring Bridge. I am gonna mill them. Yep, and I'm gonna have to play out Pyxis, and I'm just a dog now. Oh wait, no, I'm just dead on board, right? 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, plus they have 3 energy. Yeah, I'm dead on board. There's not anything I can do about it. I have to get Ensnaring Bridge down on turn 3, and they just had Workle's Recall on top of their deck. I mean, I'm gonna make them do it. Yeah, and Ledger Shredder was the last card in their hand, so I would have been able to lock up this game. I just needed them to not have anything on top of their deck there, but they just had Winter Night Stories into Hurkyl's Recall. So maybe that Pithing Needle actually lost me the game, because I should have played out more of a lock. Yeah, I think that was it. I think I made a play mistake. I think it was the Pithing Needle that did it. Because if I had Shredder and Pyxis, then I could have just exiled the Winter Night Stories and then shredded away the Hurkyl's Recall, and they would have had a land on top of their deck, and I would have been fine. Okay, I will chalk that up to a play mistake. It's an extremely subtle play mistake, but it's still a play mistake. I'm just extremely dead here. All right, well, don't make that mistake and you won't lose this game. Although I guess I didn't really know what they had in hand. Like, they could have had really anything in hand. I don't know. Cursed Totem is looking less appealing now. So maybe I take that out. I think I still want Grafdigger's Cage, and I think I still want the Underworld Cookbook. I need ways to get counterspells out of my hand. But I also kind of want more counterspells now that I'm on the play. So I want these counterspells in. What am I willing to side out to get them in, though? Maybe Metallic Rebuke? I can trim 1 Rebuke, I think. And maybe I trim a Witching Well. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm just kind of vibing. And like, I could have sacrificed Lantern there, but then I wouldn't have had the artifacts in play to were for Ensnaring Bridge anyway. So like, I was just in a bad spot. I am going to keep this hand, and I'm going to lead on Witching Well, and I'm going to try and look for a counterspell. Yeah, the heroes kept 7. Ooh, I definitely don't want 2 islands. That is entirely too many islands. They've got a turn 1 Ocelot Pride, and I've kind of just got Shredder Pyxis here. Or do I want to play Cage? I don't think I want to play Cage right now. I think I'm just going to get my lock in play. And I will start milling myself, trying to find a Lantern of Insight. Ah, yep, you've got a Mishra's Bauble. You can connive your Ledger Shredder. They're peeking the top card of my deck here. I am going to mill it regardless. Okay, it's just an island. I kind of want a Lantern right now, honestly. Like, I pretty badly want a Lantern. And there's a chance that I don't cast Ensnaring Bridge right now, specifically so that I can use Witching Well to look for Lantern. In fact, I'm going to do that. That is a Metallic Rebuke. That's not nothing, but it's not Lantern, which is what I really wanted. Maybe I'll get rid of it. Maybe I won't. I don't like how many uncontrolled draws I've let the hero have here. They've deployed a bunch of stuff. They've got 6 cards in hand. Ledger Shredder has just been churning through their deck. I don't have a Lantern of Insight. I couldn't cast Whir of Invention if I drew it, which is actually a really big problem. And that's just Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Yeah, I kind of am not convinced that I want this Metallic Rebuke on the top of my deck right now. I think I need to find Lantern of Insight, so I'm going to do that. Pithing Needle, that would have been a good draw. Oh, and I drew Counterspell. I think I need to get Ensnaring Bridge in play and just hope that they don't have a Spell Pierce here. All right, yeah, they're just exiling the Pithing Needle with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. That's fair. But now I need to keep their graveyard clean, which means that I cannot afford to mill them with this Codex Shredder if they keep the Surveil on top. And they did keep the Surveil on top. So Pyxis it is. Okay, that's just a Hylia. Gonna have to be okay with that. I'm taking a poke for 4 here. That's not nothing. But I need to get this counterspell out of my hand. All right, Island, that's a good rip. I will counter literally any spell that the hero plays here. Literally anything. It's gotta go. Yeah, they know what's up. They're just attacking, and they're not casting anything. So now I'm at the point to where I need a spell on top of my deck. Basically, any spell will work except for Ensnaring Bridge and Whir of Invention, but I guess I just need like a 1-drop spell here. And that's another counter spell. No, don't do this to me. Oh, that's terrible. Oh my God. Well, this is a way to die, I guess. Something counter spells in an Ensnaring Bridge deck. Yeah, they're just moving to combat. They know what they're doing. I would have countered my own spell. Oh my god. Double counter spell. Oh, what a way to go, huh? Well, this is why you don't play counter spells in an Ensnaring Bridge deck. I still just needed a lantern at that point, but I didn't find one. Wow, that sucks. That honestly, that's just a thing. That's just a thing that happens. Let's go ahead and move on to match 5 here. Okay, 5th and final round here on the draw versus Dade the Wade 13. I don't know if I can keep this. I'm gonna mulligan this. Turn 3 Metallic Rebuke on the draw. Nah. I will keep this hand. Turn 3 Ensnaring Bridge is better than turn 3 Metallic Rebuke. And I am gonna bottom the Academy Runes just because it doesn't cast War of Invention. Oh, Dade the Wade has mulliganed to 5. Maybe I'll have a shot. Maybe they're just playing Tron and I'm just gonna lose. Oh man, let's find out. Arid Mesa into Blood Crypt. Am I getting Thought Seized? No, I'm getting Marauding Mako'd. Okay, so this is like Jund, like discard or madness or whatever you call it. I'm not gonna be popping this Mishra's Bauble. Here we go. Yep, I am taking one little titchy point of damage. There it goes. No, I'm getting Burning Inquiry. No, please keep my Ensnaring Bridge. Oh, I have 2 Ensnaring Bridges now. I just discarded 3 lands. All right, whatever. Okay, and they've got a Detective's Phoenix. They don't currently have a way to cast it, but if they play any land that produces red, which is a lot of them, then they can Detective's Phoenix onto something. And yeah, here comes the Blood Crypt. It's coming. Feels like a Detective's Phoenix to me. The good news is, oh, am I dead? No, I'm not dead. I'm just falling to 7. Buddy, attack with your Marauding Mako. There we go. You want to attack with that, right? Okay. I would love to draw a 0-drop. Can't do it. Never could do it. But a 0-drop would have meant that they can't Detective's Phoenix onto Moonshadow. But now they can, and they can attack with it. They just can't grow Moonshadow anymore. But that should be relatively easy for them to do, right? They can't just like accidentally chuck things into their graveyard. And this attack puts me to 3. Oh, also Marauding Mako is smaller, so I'm just dead. Wow. Yep, I did nothing except cast an Ensnaring Bridge on turn 3, and my hand was too full. My hand was too full because I didn't do anything else. So finally taking a game 1 loss, and my hand was just too full to do anything about it. Dang, that's annoying. Yes, I know technically it was a 0-drop. You know what? You were absolutely right. I had to have been more specific. I should have said I want to draw Mishra's Bauble. But now I have Welding Jars in the deck. So now I have more things that I can draw to. Torpor Orb, get out of the deck. Pithing Needle. I'm going to see what else I have in the sideboard. Witchbane Orb could be useful in a late game situation against a Lightning Bolt exactly. I don't think that justifies me putting a 4-drop in the deck. Void Mirror is dead. Damping Sphere is probably going to hurt me more than it hurts the hero. Curse Totem's useless. That's useless. Ashiok could do something. It could do something. Against what? Marauding Mako doesn't care about cards staying in the graveyard or not. Like, you could literally just like have Rest in Peace and Marauding Mako wouldn't care. Hollow One wouldn't care either. Moonshadow would care about Rest in Peace, but Ashiok isn't Rest in Peace. So Moonshadow still gets around this. Skittering Kitten doesn't care about this. Detective's Phoenix cares a little bit about it. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth putting 2 3-drops in my deck specifically just for Detective's Phoenix. What am I getting rid of? I don't want to get rid of a Pithing Needle. I can still keep a Pithing Needle in. I think Grafdigger's Cage is going to be more useful. Grafdigger's Cage actually stops Detective's Phoenix from being cast from the graveyard, and it also stops the back half of Faithless Looting. So I think I'm just going to sideboard like this. Oh man, I don't know if I can keep this. I feel like what's going to happen with this hand is I'm going to go turn 1 Pyxis. The hero's going to go turn 1 Marauding Mako. And then I'm going to be holding open counter spells while I just take fat chunks of damage from the Mako. Or I could get Burning Inquiry and discard all my counter spells and draw into an Ensnaring Bridge, which is what I want to do. So I am going to keep this hand. This is not a good keep, by the way. I'm doing this for science. I'm doing this for fun. But this is not a keep. This is just not a keep. I will hold open Metallic Rebukes, but if the hero literally does anything on turn 1, then I am probably just on the back foot. I'm hoping to draw into Whir of Invention. A Lantern would be a good pickup. I could play Lantern on turn 2 and still hold open Metallic Rebuke. I just need turn 1 to go okay. If turn 1 goes okay, then this hand will carry me a very long way. 4 counter spells that I can cast against a low to the ground aggro deck starting on turn 2 is not nothing. Just need them to not have a turn 1 play. That's it. Have like a Skittering Kitten as a turn 1 play. Thoughtseize me. Don't tap for red. See, there's the Marauding Mako. I could counter all of their discard outlets. I drew counterspell number 5. I've got a full house of counterspells here. Look at this. Yeah, that's just Street Wraith. I can't do anything about that. Nethergoyf, get countered. There we go. Raucous Theater. Go ahead and Surveil Seal of Fire to the graveyard, I guess. And now I just need to draw land Ensnaring Bridge. That's all I need to do. And not counterspell number 6, please. I already kept way too many counterspells. Okay, land. That's the start. That's a start. That's how you start. That's how you start actually doing something. I can't do 2 counterspells in a row. If I'm not going to draw an Ensnaring Bridge, I would want to draw a Mishra's Bauble or a Welding Jar so that I can do counterspell into Metallic Rebuke. Oh, yeah, they're just cycling Hollow One. I think they know what's going on. Is this not the exact thing that I said was going to happen when I kept this hand? Literally, like, I called this. Is that they were going to have a Marauding Mako in play, and I was just going to die. Okay, that is a Detective's Phoenix. I'm going to actually Metallic Rebuke that. And I'm still getting chunked here. Not great for me. Still getting chunked. Okay, second Pyxis I can live with. Now I can Metallic Rebuke something this turn, and then also Metallic Rebuke and counterspell something next turn. Yeah, no, get the heck out of here. They can still Detective's Phoenix from their graveyard, unfortunately. Ooh, the post Metallic Rebuke land into Violent Urge into Detective's Phoenix. Yeah, I'm just gonna die here, aren't I? I'm gonna take 12. And then Lightning Bolt is gonna be their last card in hand. I called it. I called it. I called it. I told you. I exactly called everything that happened in that game. Every single thing that happened. And this is why you do not keep hands that have excessive amounts of counterspells, and why you don't keep hands that have excessive amounts of discard. So just don't do it, I guess. So if you're tempted to keep a hand that has 4 counterspells in it playing this deck, now you're not tempted, because the thing that I said was going to happen literally just happened right in front of your very eyes. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap up the league. So I went 0-5 with this build, but first, consider that I was taking a deck that is designed to be a budget entry point to playing Lantern Control, something that you would play at an FNM, and I ran it through an online league on Magic Online, a normal league, not a friendly league, a normal league. And these people are not trying to test budget decks. They are trying to practice for PTQs and grind out trophies. And I went 0-5, but in basically every match, I still felt like I had agency. I still felt like I could put up a fighting chance. And that is a really good place for me to feel like when I'm taking a deck that is obviously horrendously underpowered for an online league, and I'm throwing it through an online league. Like, I felt like there were a lot of situations to where I was just like a little bit shy, where if I had made a slightly different decision, or if the hero hadn't had 5 outs in a row on top of their deck, then I would have been fine. So now consider that this deck is designed to be an entry point for playing Lantern Control. If you're the sort of person who's been watching my videos and you've been like, oh gosh, golly gee, this sounds like I would want to play Lantern at my FNM, but I don't want to shell out $600 for a Mox Opal. or Urza Sagas. Heck, if you even don't want to be buying Thoughtseizes quite yet, then you could do a lot worse than running a build that looks like this. Keep in mind, you will still do a lot of losing because you're new and because the cards you are playing are underpowered because they are inexpensive. But everyone has to start somewhere. And I'm thinking back to when I first started playing Lantern Control back in 2014 or something like that. And I didn't own Thoughtseizes. I had to play Llanowar Waste. I had to play Duress, Despise even, which is horrible. And I did a lot of losing because I was new to the deck and I was playing cards that were frankly underpowered because I couldn't afford the good ones. So that's going to happen to you. But if you can look past that and you can see that Lantern Control is going to be a good fit for you, then I think that you could start with a deck that looks like this. It's also nice that this deck has a very clear upgrade path. So the first thing that I would recommend is actually cutting the counter spells, unfortunately. This interaction is just, it's not up to snuff. You need discard. You need Fatal Push, or probably Bloodchief's Thirst, honestly. And I know that you can surmise what an opponent has just by the way that they're playing their cards, oftentimes. But sometimes it's better to just play the stronger card, the card that directly looks into your opponent's hand and solves the problem for you. So if you were to upgrade this deck, Thoughtseize is where I would start. Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek. The cheaper versions of Thoughtseize, this one's under $5 according to this website. This one's under $6. So you could likely get a playset of Thoughtseizes for around $25 to $30. Inquisition of Kozilek is even cheaper. Look, prices on this are insanely low. This is way lower than when I was playing, when I was first getting started. And as far as lands go, you've got a really good option for upgrading your lands in the form of River of Tears. This is a land that will tap for black if you've played a land this turn, and it taps for blue otherwise, and it is always untapped when you play it. So this can cast a turn 1 discard spell, but it can also cast a turn 3 Whir of Invention, which is kind of a really good fit for Lantern Control specifically, especially since it comes into play untapped and it doesn't cost you any life. And of course, there's always the fast lands. Basically, any version of Lantern Control that is playing 2 colors is going to have a playset of the fast lands in those colors. And Darkslick Shores is the one for blue-black. It's very cheap. You can get a copy of it for under $2. So between the Thoughtseizes, the Inquisitions, Bloodchief's Thirst, let me go ahead and look that up real quick. Yeah, 20-cent card. So between all of those cards, you're probably looking at around an additional $60. And you would be taking a mono blue lantern list that is pretty dang budget. And you would be upgrading it into a budget version of blue black lantern that has better tools to deal with certain situations, like, oh, I don't know, a Ragavan that just sits in play for 10 turns and kills you very slowly. You would have Bloodchief's Thirst as outs to that. You'd have Thoughtseizes that can just directly reach into their hand and pluck the counterspells out of it. So if you want to take the plunge into Lantern Control, I think that this is a good place to start. You can spend some time getting familiar with the deck and the play patterns, and then if you like what you see, go ahead and start upgrading it to blue-black. And if you like it even more than that, get your Urza Sagas. Replace a couple of Academy Ruins. Get those Urza Sagas into play. And I think you are going to really, really, really like how Urza Saga feels in Lantern Control. But yeah, if you just want to take this to an FNM, go for it. This is a great place to start. This program is made possible by generous funding from these sponsors, and also by your view, like, and comment, the support of my wife and son, and by contributions to Fate Seal Magic from viewers like you. Thank you.